Hello everyone, and welcome back to Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, the Nuzlocke run. We are currently on chapters 9 through 12 of this run, and are moving along. And, as such, we are on a new chapter. So immediately, what's the first thing we go do? We will convert our next Digimon, which in this case turns out to be a Sumamon. Which I actually don't necessarily have room in the party for right now, so we're actually getting a little bit to put on the farm. So, Chapter 9 is all about the attack on Kamashiro Industries in order to get the information out of them. So, moving in with Arata, we begin our assault. Sneaking in. I guess assault's not the right term, it's more being sneaky. Once inside, we get in contact with Arata to bring him along, and soon enough after that, we come across the battle with the security Digimon. Now, this is mostly just like another little mini-boss. It's not anything particularly scary. They will do a little bit of damage, as usual, but they don't have enough health to stick around long enough to really be worrisome. For the most part, I stuck with my data team because there's a data and a vaccine, so you can take care of them, and then once you're ready to move on, then you can get your virus types going to deal with the Metal Mamemon. Especially once it's just him, there's absolutely no worry. The interesting thing about these two, though, is that they drop a large capacity USB and a researcher USB. So those are very interesting items that could be useful later in the run. And next we bring Peggy up to Doru Greymon. We're finally getting some more ultimates on the team. As well as Chaz going from Waspmon to Okuamon, getting a much better signature skill in this way, in order to help us along on our run. Next at this point is another Eater. And, well, we've taken down so many of these at this point. And having a couple of penetrating moves on the team now, they are an absolute joke if you have just a few. So, moving into the top secret area, that you are then able to finish, and I was able to Digivolve the Sumamon up to Karamon, because I wanted to have a free type. They are very helpful to have around a free type that's at least rookie level, in order to be able to get your forced encounters. Working on the farm, I was able to put in a couple of developer know-hows so we could improve the farm. Next, moving on to the next case in the chapter, is to help out the rebels, and helping out this man helping out Nokia. So then we move on to this fight that I did not remember in any way at all. Suddenly, meet Black War Greymon and Black Metal Garurumon, and wow, did they hurt! But I was not ready for them there. They almost one-shot some of my Digimon in there before I had a chance to do anything. This very first round is all about just surviving, so don't need to bother doing anything. But then once we have the power of our own War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, and he heals us, then suddenly we can actually do damage. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. We go with it. So, they still hurt a bit. You have to keep yourself a little wary of just how much damage they can do, but Metal Garurumon is quite useless here to help you, but War Greymon is quite helpful, especially because of that great tornado that he has that just can do so much damage. Especially right there at the end, as that's what he did to help us finish off this battle. So next we go back to the farm, and we're starting to get more ultimates. Aji has now become Mamemon, because that was the only ultimate I had available that could keep him on the data line. So in order to keep the types of my Digimon intact, that's what I decided to go with. And then our random Black Gabumon just became Black Garurumon. Mostly just because I wanted to make sure the people I had in backup were also ready to fight in case we needed to. And trying to keep up with naming some more Digimon, I decided to go through and name Ryutamon after another one of my streamer friends, Sly Chemist, who happened to stop by. So next we move on to Yugo being worried about Nokia's activities getting in the way, so we have to deal with this case as well. In so doing, we come across the hacker who is giving Nokia a hard time, and in turn tries to pick a fight with Yugo, which is obviously not a very good idea. So, moving into this battle, again, another battle that is just a kind of mini boss. Nothing that I really bothered to remember. I mean, they just don't have enough health again that you just mop through them. Akuamon just one-shots the Mega Digimon, no problem. Then the other Akuamon's down, and then you just gotta beat up the O2 Scum for a little while. Because he's free type, he doesn't have any particular weaknesses unless you have some air abilities, but he does pathetic damage. Just poke him enough, and you should be fine. And this is the battle also where TT became max level. So once we were done there, back to the farm, so we had to decide what TT should become. So I decided to go down the War Growlmon line, which, War Growlmon, you're so cool, but I really do not like your Atomic Blaster. Just the recoil. It's just too much. I don't care for it. Next is helping out Ryota find his present for his girlfriend, which you don't do a whole lot in that one, so not much to show you there. Now you are able to buy C's of every type of attachment, so going through and picking up a few of those might not be a bad idea. Mostly I pick up attack and intelligence at this point. I've honestly actually gotten a little cocky and haven't even been picking up any of the defense ones so much. And once you're done making him happy and getting his present, you're then ready to move on to Chapter 10, to the Promised Land, where the members of Zaxxon are ready to supposedly reclaim Eden. But we don't care about that. It's a new chapter, so we get to convert Akuramon, who again is just going to go on the farm because we have no room for them. Then we're off to answer Nokia's summons and are attacked by the rebels. Because good old Nokia didn't explain any to us what was going on here. Obviously this is just a training fight. It's another tiny fight that really is not going to give you any trouble at this point in the game, as long as you have, you know, a reasonable team. And you beat them up and easily move on to Promised Land. The Kuramon easily became max level, so we easily decided, why not get a Pagumon? It was something different. So, next it's time to start chasing the hackers into Under Zero. This is another great place for farming experience where most of the new area dungeons can be. So, as we were scouting through there, we were able to beat up a bunch of Digimon. Sly Chemist was able to become max level as well. So, moving back to the farm to figure out what to make him become, I decided on Raptor Dramon to, again, just mix things up and keep things a little different. And wow, is that a good attack stat, but an absolutely atrocious intelligence. Gurdramon becomes our next Digimon that will be converted. Though it was about this point in the game where I had to start thinking about how many more we would ever actually convert due to chapters. And Galmon also added to the list on our way through. And then we finally get to the bottom, meeting Zaxxon, the hackers, Yugo, Faye. It's time for the big showdown. And indeed, a showdown with Machine Dramon it is. This fight is, again, a long one. The only thing you really have to be worried about is when he uses that buff, you know the big bad attack is coming, so you may want to guard up because it will do a lot of damage. But other than that, once he debuffs himself afterward, basically recoil kind of like Atomic Blaster, then you can really get in there and sneak in a whole bunch of damage. I mean, he'll repair a little bit, get a little bit of health back, but all in all, as long as he telegraphs his big attack, so long as you can guard that, you should have absolutely no problem slowly whittling him down. And once you've defeated them, then we move on to the fight with Faye and Nokia. Again, this is mostly just kind of to show you this fight and see the cool cutscene because there's really no threat of any kind here. You can't die in the first battle at all, and while you might be able to die in the second part, it would be very strange if you actually were able to. It's pretty much made for you to only be able to win. Again, this battle has nothing to do with actually threatening the run. Once that battle's done, you then see the Eaters unleashed upon everyone, and it's time for you to move in and save the day and fight more Eaters. And once again, at this point, they're just pretty much basic Eaters, so even though there's 2 of them, it's still... The only real problem is maybe you're a little beat up from the previous fight, so you might have to be a little careful about that. But other than that, you should be just fine in order to take these down. Just your penetrating moves just do way too much damage to Eaters at this point for them to be able to be a threat. And there you have it. You've completed Under Zero. And of course you try to follow through and save Yuko with the big reveal that she was Yuko all along and everything. And then Miss Rai weirdly looks like a Digimon. What is going on? Who knows? I sure don't. Of course I do. And we move on to Chapter 11, the Paradise Lost Plan. Which seems like an awful plan. I mean, it's the bad guy's plan, so of course it's awful. So, once again, it's a new chapter. So we move on to the next Digimon to convert, and that would be Gaomon in this case. Once we've converted Gaomon, I also noticed that the Pokemon I have is maximum level. Looking through my Digimon and thinking that I might be a little low on data types, it's time for us to get another one, so I go with Lopmon. It's a cute little data type that works well enough for now. Again, most Digimon can go to anything in this game, so it's not really that big a deal what they go to. So now it's time for Omnimon to explain the plan. Now that he's reformed and got his memories, the Eaters are in the digital world, and everyone's coming and wants to destroy humanity. So that's good. So, using the humans plan, you move ahead and try to go rescue Yuko, going back down into this underground area, which now actually has a bunch of Digimon in, which is another decent training area. Moving through, we find the 2 Seadramon in order to get to 100% scan data, and Seadramon is the last Digimon that will be converted in this run. They are the one that will be converted in Chapter 20. And as we are moving through, Blue Spirit also became max level, as well as Peckmon reaching 100%, but again, we should never have to worry about converting them. And then we have a Shellnumamon, just in case somehow I miscalculated. I made sure to go through and show you a few more. Again, trying to keep on the virus line, the only choice I had was Cherrymon, which, unfortunately, Cherrymon's not all that much better than his Woodmon counterpart. He's a little better, but not all that much. And then moving through the dungeon, I decided to bring along Karamon, and he also became max level, while I was trying to train up my Digimon to just a little bit more to be ready to fight the next boss. And so, being max level, he became Kurisarimon. Then, I was ready to face the next boss. Miss Rai, it was time for the true reveal. Who was the one behind this mad plan? Well, it was Miss Rai, but it wasn't. But it was Crusadermon. But it was also Miss Rai. It's both. Just go with it. Don't think about this game too much. The story can be a little tough to follow. But fighting Crusadermon did indeed have me a little bit worried. I know her signature move, Fist of Athena, can hit like an absolute truck. So I was a little worried about this fight. Thankfully, the first time you fight her here, she's a bit weakened. She's not all that threatening in this form. You only beat her up a little bit and she runs away. You don't get any experience or money or anything for it. But she does succeed in opening up a rift. Hi there, Examon. You're nice and cute and small. And oh, sorry, buildings. Oh, smash. Oh, I'm sure that wasn't a problem. They are able to create the blackout in order to close the hole, but the damage has already been done. And then one of the weirdest bosses in the entire game shows up. Yeah, this happens to Yuko. Thank you, Japan. And to go with how weird the boss is, the battle is also kind of weird. In general, it does nothing to really threaten you, but it has a few things that'll put your Digimon to sleep, and then suddenly that little bit of damage that it can do, if you don't have enough turns to actually fix it, can suddenly start to become a bit scary. So it is a bit of a fight that can lull you into a false sense of security. So, again, just be a little careful. It does enough damage that it can be worried, and it can drain your SP. And yeah, right there, right here where all of my Digimon are asleep, I was really scared, but then I was able to get a healing item off and everything was alright. But yeah, it put my entire team to sleep with one move, and then it just had free reign. Because if all your Digimon are asleep, you can't use any items. So, not once but twice, all of my Digimon fell asleep. So, bring a sleep guard or two here, and you should be alright. Or bring a Digimon like Sistermon that will prevent you from being affected by status ailments. Or even just a Digimon with a passive of anti-sleep, because this is very annoying. But, all in all, we were able to get through it without any issues in the end. Just took a long time. And another boss battle you get no experience or bits for. 2 bosses in a row. What fun. And then you're mysteriously pulled through this vortex that pops up behind you. Don't worry, I'm sure everything is fine. And this is where, after a brief confusion, you begin chapter 12, and you're actually in the digital world. One of only 2 times in the entire game that you're actually in the digital world. 3 if you count the flashback. So, I guess there's another. But you are summoned by a mysterious entity that I'm sure none of you know who could possibly be that comes to your rescue to draw you back to the real world. And once you've met with Yuko, it's time to go back and see how you can save the world again. So yeah, a lot of bad stuff's happened in the real world in your absence. It's been a little while. So you come back to meet your friends, and Arata's now wanted because he did the blackout. So he, being hard-headed, doesn't want Matayoshi's help, and loves summoning Digimon to threaten people. Lovely Arata. And even Date's getting in on the Digimon fever, falling for this cute little Lotmon who's looking for his friend. So, Lotmon is entrusted to you, and it's time for you to begin looking for the Tokomon. But, again, don't care. New chapter. What? Ah, Toyogamon. Excellent. What I always wanted. You can also buy some more items now in the shop. You get the HPBs now, which are nice to give you that little extra padding in case you need to stay alive. So, you have to do a bit of looking around, but finally, you come back to the free area, and you find Yuko being hatted on by the Tokomon. Not sure how you want to put it. Assessing Yuko, yes, obviously. And you reunite the 2 friends, and all is happy in the world. So, Gaomon in the farm became max level, so I decided to just keep him on the Gaogamon line. Even though he's kind of a speed type, so not all that useful. The next case I decided to do was helping out the Piedmon, run around Kowloon level 4 to get a little bit of experience, but mostly it's just talk to him, talk to the human to interview him, and then run all the way back and talk to Piedmon again. And that's about it. There's actually no boss fights or anything to this, just a little bit of running around, a little bit of research and experience. Yes, tickle the Mega that's about to, stab some swords through you. I'm sure that would work out well. And then you have to retrieve the Demidemimon for his owner, and, well, while he might be a little tough for a rookie, he's got a lot of health. He is at least still a rookie. He just doesn't do any damage. So, you beat him up after a little while. Poison. He has plenty of annoying stuff. He's Demidemimon. He should be annoying. That is kind of how he works. But after a short while, you should be able to clean him up with not too much trouble. And Demidemimon, we could convert. And then you have to go take the 2 Digimon to eat a lot of food. Again, not a lot to show there. It's literally just going and getting the food. In order to actually advance the plot, though, you have to take a break here, which is very random. You're into this digital field, and once you are out, you'll actually meet the 2 that are responsible for the case. Well, the 2 Digimon and the sister. You won't actually meet the brother until later. But they're happy to see you. Well, not you, but happy to see each other. And you help out. The brother's like, oh yeah, it's not so bad. She's happy. Yay, everything's fine. But then you go back and don't get paid, so you have to go back again. It's all very confusing. And they think they Digivolve, but they didn't, so you actually have to step in and help them out against the Cyclone Mon. And he's just a champion at this point. Again, it's nothing that you really gotta worry too much about. The one thing to keep in mind is counterattacks seem pretty useless, but boy do they hit exceedingly hard. It is something to keep in mind that if you do want to do it, counters are not necessarily a waste of time to do. And with this fight, we've reached the end of Chapter 12. That's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I'll see you again in the next one. Keep staying awesome, everyone. Bye-bye.